Now, if this was you, would you not be losing your marbles right now? Check this one out. How often should you be weighing yourself when you're tracking your fat loss process? Here I have it graphed out. This is a potential scenario. It might look exactly like yours. As you're finding out, when you're losing body fat, your measurements are not linear, meaning that it's not a consistent line going down. It's a squiggly line, more like this. So this looks all over the place, but you can tell this person is generally losing a little bit of weight. Now, if you can weigh yourself on a daily basis or every other day, that's best case scenario. If you find the scale, body scale, gives you a lot of anxiety, you'll find you're not going to be weighing yourself quite as often, because if it gives you too much anxiety to step on the scale first thing in the morning, then I would suggest not weighing yourself as often. But be cautious about the long-term measurements, waiting too many days in between your measurements. Let me describe. Now, scenario number one, let's say, hypothetically, this person doesn't weigh themselves every day. They weigh themselves on this day, and then they weigh themselves on this day. Now, you can tell all in all, this person is losing weight in that trend. However, these 2 days, this day is actually lower. So if you only see these two measurements, you would think that this person in particular is actually gaining weight. They're not even losing weight, they're gaining weight. So let me give you scenario number two. Now here we are with scenario number two. This person only weighs themselves 2 times in the week as well. However, the first measurement ends up being their heaviest measurement. The next measurement, coincidentally, looks good on the scale or graphed out on a chart. That's their lowest measurement. So the difference between these two is quite significant, and that just looks really good. So luckily for this person, it looks good. But in both scenarios, remember, we're taking into account all these measurements. So in the two scenarios, one person looks like they're gaining weight. The next person looks like they're dropping weight, possibly faster than they are. If you look at this actually graphed out, average out all these weights, and it's gonna look something like that. So this measurement averaged out should be more like here. This one averaged out would be more like here. So things happen in this particular situation. They started measuring on Sunday. As they go through the week, they're doing all right. They're generally going down. Friday night, they have more food than usual. Water weight builds, and that's why they get this heavy measurement here. But they realize they had a great Friday night, time to get back on track Saturday. So Saturday to Sunday, that water weight comes back down again. So you will notice these aggressive fluctuations. That's why I suggest weighing yourself as frequent as possible, hopefully on a daily basis, because the more data you have, the more you can see about what's going on. However, if you get anxiety from jumping on the scale on a regular basis, then chill out, weigh yourself once in a while, and trust the process that it's going to work. Let me give you scenario number 3. Hypothetically, this happens. Scenario number 3. Now, if this was you, would you not be losing your marbles right now? Check this one out. In one day, they've gone up this much. Looking at this is about 2 or 3 pounds. Now, in one day, if you saw the scale go up 2 or 3 pounds, the world would be crashing down on you right now. This is definitely not good. Now, if you didn't have all these measurements, except for these two, this would be horrific looking, especially if you're putting in an honest effort. Now, in this situation, it's a Friday night, they're eating a lot, water weight goes up, but when you don't have all these measurements, you can't really assess it properly. If you only have 2 measurements, or let's say hypothetically, you only have 2 measurements, one being low, one being the highest, then it's going to be really, really, really tough psychologically as well, looking at your results, trying to make sense of it really. So I always suggest weigh yourself as much as possible. on a daily basis or every 2 days. If you weigh yourself once a week, that's fine. But do keep in mind, please keep in mind, don't lose your marbles if you see any kind of fluctuations like this. The more data you have, the better it's going to look.